When we talked to you earlier in the week, Tuesday before the North Carolina State game, you talked about rebounding. North Carolina State had a good rebounding team, had like a +9 going into the game. You did a good job on the boards, and that was one of the keys to the game.
There's no question about it, and as he progressed in this league, every game becomes even more important than rebounding. Going into the Maryland game, tremendous offensive rebounding team, as is almost everybody in this league, you know, and you have to control the glass to control the tempo of the game. You don't want great defensive possessions to be wasted by giving second shots. So I thought we did a great job at NC State on the glass, especially in the last 30 minutes of the game, and that was a huge key for our success in that game.
You've seen your stats improve as you're going into the ACC schedule. Is that a factor of it's finally getting together with the team, or the intensity of the game, that type of thing?
Well, yeah, you know, I think we are a much improved team than we were the first day of practice, and even though we have slippage and so forth, you know, and we've shot the ball better in those 2 games, which, you know, sometimes is, you know, cures all ills, you know, when you make some shots. But, you know, I thought defensively, especially from the 3, we've been pretty good. We have to do a little better job of guarding the dribble penetration. And we put a lot of pressure, to be honest with you, on our big guys to guard a lot post-up situations one-on-one, and they've done a tremendous job of that. All 4 of those guys have done just a great job of eliminating deep post touches and just using their size and their bodies once the ball gets in there.
You also talked about North Carolina State didn't have the greatest depth on their team, you know, as far as the bench. Was that a factor in the game?
We're not the deepest either. So, you know, I thought it might have been a little bit of a factor, especially what ends up happening. North Carolina State is, you know, have a lot of guys coming back, but they're in a rebuilding mode too as well. And what ends up happening is you just don't have, if 1 or 2 guys don't play well, their margin of error, like ours, is very small. And so if a couple guys don't play well, you don't have 2 or 3 guys off the bench that might be able to give you the spark that you need that night.
So you and I can get busy working on a book with your silver bullet speech that you apparently delivered between that game and now, because something is different.
Well, you know, again, sometimes those motivational speeches, and I'm all for that stuff, our guys have just kind of stepped it up. I'm not sure it's anything I've said or anything we've done differently in practice. It is a process, and you never know, maybe when that click happens that all of a sudden the guys get it. Now, I've been through it enough, seen it at a couple different stops where it looks like you got a lot of things figured out, and then all of a sudden, you know, the term I use, you have slippage and you go back. And what you try to do as you rebuild it is those points between the slippage marks get longer and longer and further apart. And hopefully that we're in that type of situation now, because there was a point earlier in the year where we were defending and rebounding against some quality teams, and then we had a 2-week hiatus from doing the things that we need to do, and you saw that in the results of those games.
Looking at the NC State video, you mentioned the rebounding. What are some things in review that you maybe liked and didn't like that you didn't notice at first?
I thought we moved the ball well, and we shared the ball pretty well. I thought that when we had opportunities to be aggressive taking the ball to the basket, we did a very good job of that. We were able to come up with one of the things I felt we needed to get better at during the year was our execution after timeouts and after dead ball situations. We were able to set up exactly what we wanted. Our guys executed those plays extremely well in that game. And, you know, these games, you know, so many of our games will go down to the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And talent sometimes then is erased at that point. The execution becomes important. The chemistry among the guys in terms of really, you know, kind of locking in and being there for each other. I thought we did all that. You know, the only negative thing that we have to continue to get better at, and I'm not sure we didn't do a good job of it, but we have to constantly do a better job, is our transition defense is so important in this league. With the quality of teams, you cannot give up easy baskets in the open court. And we gave up a couple of those in that game. And, you know, in reviewing the film, I wish we would have closed out the game a little more crisper. But it kind of got raggedy at the end, and when we're really good, that last minute and a half will only take 5 minutes instead of 15 like it did. You know, because we're crisp with the ball, we knock down our free throws, we get a couple stops without fouling, and we end it the right way.